Okay, everybody, are we ready to reconvene, please? Welcome, Stephen.
Hey everyone, appreciate there's been a delay, so apologies for that.
So, just noting that we are reconvening our council meeting, and we're moving to page 7 for the annual report for the year ended 30th of June 2021. Could I please move the recommendation on number 3 that the report be received and that this matter or decision is recognised as significant in terms of Section 76 of the Local Government Act. Mover and seconder, please. Deputy Mayor Mason, Councillor Mitchell, all those in favour? Against, carried. So just welcome, Stephen. Thank you for joining us. And would you like to kick this off and anything you would like to add to the annual report?
I'll just keep my comments relatively brief. I appreciate the time. So the opinion, as you're aware and has previously been discussed, is still got the qualification regarding the complaints, the way that complaints have been measured. Now, that's been addressed internally by council. So the carryover bit of that issue, for lack of a better phrase, is the after-hours service that you get from Palmerston North City Council. So it'll be a matter of working way through that part of it. So that's a similar, well, in fact, exactly the same qualification that we gave last year, and that's simply, as undoubtedly you've already been briefed on, the way that complaints are counted. But the rest of it's a good, for lack of a better word, audit opinion, and the fact that we're comfortable with the financial statements and the rest of these performance information that's in the rest of the annual report. And as you will have been briefed, there's been a couple of prior period adjustments. So that means correcting some reporting that happened last year. And in fact, in the case of benchmarks in a number of previous years. So the Three Waters valuation, because of the way that the base unit rates are, the cost of doing work, previously the fair value assessment last year to assess whether the value of the assets was in line with what you've got them in the books at, relied on indexing. When the valuers went through it at 1st of July, there was a realisation that some of the underlying costs were higher than those indices had initially indicated. And secondly, going back to the benchmarks are a requirement, as you're aware, from DIA for some specific stuff. And the way that they are extracted depends on the way that you work out the various ratios. And going through it again this year, we noted there were some slight discrepancies, so therefore we'll work with Jacinta and her team to get those more consistent and in line with the exact definitions as prescribed by the regulations. But happy. And sorry, the final comment would be that the level of support from Abraham and Jacinta, and also on the non-financial side of things from members of council's been of good standards. So there's the fact that we've ended up with the adoption meeting moving from last week to this week, and the fact that we're meeting at 5:39 by my clock as opposed to 4 o'clock is just simply a matter of the way that we've had to work our way through. So it's been an impact of the availability of auditors in the country, which has had a knock-on effect on other entities, which in turn has had a knock-on effect on you. So I'm not saying it's my fault, but I'm certainly saying that it's certainly not yours. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Jacinta, anything you want to add or at this stage?
No, I don't think so. Just in particular, in regards to that restatement, we saw that when we did the long-term plan and estimated the water, one of the late changes in terms of the long-term plan was that significant increase in water. And as a part of our annual report each year, we make an assessment with indices of where that valuation is expected to go to. And because we value as of 1 July, when the actual results came back in, they just happened to be significantly higher as the market is what's happening in the market. So while it's called a prior period misstatement, it's really just a reflection of what's actually come through in the market versus estimates.
Any questions of either the auditor or Jacinta at all? Councillor Browning.
Just one. I think it's just important to clarify, Stephen and Jacinta, that the issue with after our call centre, as I understand it, was that if there's multiple calls about one issue, it was only recorded as one call because it was the same issue. Is that correct? Yeah. So would I be right in saying it's a relatively, it's been fixed, but it's a relatively, I guess, minor sort of issue, or how would you describe that, Steve? Because I think it's important because it looks, could be quite bad, but
Well, it's a requirement of, the requirement of DIA that happens, which is a legislative thing. So I guess you see it in that context. Your financials, as I've said, are fine, and the rest of your performance information is fine. We've had the conversation, but you may or may not recall. Certainly at the last audit committee was, or one of the previous audit committees, is in terms of you're not the only council in the situation, because obviously, well, not obviously, but Palmerston North provides after-hours service to a number of councils. So,
right, yep, thank you.
Just quickly on that one, I guess there's the conversation around it's a specific measure that's required by the DIA, but in terms of, I think, Ross, your question in terms of the question around, is it better to understand that there are 3 particular sites that have an issue versus 300, and understanding it being site-specific versus number of calls specific?
Okay, so going back to the recommendations, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5 and 3.6, that the annual report for the year ended 30th of June 2021 is amended by adding the final audit opinion, that the annual report for the year ended 30th of June 2021 be adopted as amended, that the Chief Executive be authorised to amend the final annual report for editorial amendments required or to reflect non-material changes requested by audit after the date of the report, that the Mayor and Chief Executive be authorised to sign the annual report on behalf of Council, and the Mayor, Chief Executive and Chief Financial Officer be authorised to sign the letter of representation addressed to the Council's auditors for the year ended 30th of June 2021. Moved by Councillor Brannigan, seconded by Councillor Mitchell. Any discussion? Councillor Tupupa.
I just want to thank Jacinta and your team. I really appreciate the way in which you answer our questions and have, because we're not don't always say it nice. Well, I know I don't, and I just appreciate your really good responses, or patient. I'm just being honest, and so thank you very much. And I also appreciated the Q&A that you did with us the other week. So that's what makes this easier to adopt. Thank you.
Apologies, I should say thank you, Stephen, and your team for the hard work that you've put in under trying circumstances with resources.
thank you, but I'm also highly conscious of the impact on you and Abraham and the rest of your teams.
Okay, so the motion's on the table. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Stephen. As Jacinta said, under trying circumstances, I wish you well for the, I hope you have a decent break. Wish you well for attracting more auditors to the system for early next year. You'll be pleased to note that we've indicated that we're not going to consult on our annual plan next year, so we don't need to sign off an annual plan consultation document, but no doubt we will catch up in the new year some stage. So wish you all the best, and thank you and your team for the effort through this last few months and especially the last couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, and wish you all the best as well.
Thank you. Cheers.
Fine.
Bye. Thank you, Jacinta. Thank you, Abraham, and just endorsing what Councillor Tukapua said. I think that we all endorse those comments, and I really appreciate the hard work that's gone in. And I know that there are a number of councils who are not in the position that we're in today to be able to sign off the annual report. So it's a great, actually, achievement that we've been able to do it before Christmas. So thank you. Councillors, we have one late item before we close the meeting, and I'm just going to probably just take my microphone off over to the lectern and bring it over. If I probably don't end this on the floor. And I'll need my notes. And could I please ask the current Deputy Chief Executive to join me up here, please? Because you're not going to sit down there and wait till we say things. Today is Nikki's last council meeting, so it is appropriate under the circumstances that we as elected members recognise her contribution to this organisation. And Nikki started, would you believe, 2012 as a Senior Information Management Officer. I don't know where the senior came in from, because she would have been pretty young and pretty junior in those times. So, and she's held 5 different roles prior to being appointed as our Deputy Chief Executive in February 2020, whilst holding the Communities, Partnerships and Business portfolio. During that time, Nikki has obviously had a huge impact on us as elected members and on council on whole. I know that we all have appreciated Nikki's upfront and honest approach, her professionalism. She is meticulous in everything she does. Sure, she has every last detail covered, and has been, which has been important to us. And we know that she has got that subtle art of telling us off or telling us we're wrong without us even realising it, and it's quite an attribute. Nikki, we wish you all the best in your new career. We hope that you get your after work hours life back, because I know you haven't had anything. It is great for the district that you will still be here, and we know that as a local girl, you will still be a vital cog in this community, and we are looking forward to your other contributions and supporting us as you have done. So really appreciate the valued contribution that we've made, and all the best. Cheers. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I'll hold those while you do it, all right?
Anyone who knows me will know I hate this stuff. Like, I was actually telling a story to some of my staff the other day. On our wedding day, my husband and I, we had a videographer who came and videoed the wedding. Oh, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. Hello, public. You can know.
She's leaving tomorrow.
No, this is good for the public to know. And I had to burn all the DVDs because I could not watch myself. I hate being the centre of attention. So that's great. Look, I've enjoyed my time here. It has been a ride. I think born and bred here, so it kind of hits different when you are working for the place that not only I call home, but all of my family call home. So anything I do here, I have to justify not only to myself, but to all of them. So I am proud of what I've done. I've got an amazing team. They will take the legacy and do amazing things. I am looking forward to staying local, watching what you do in the years ahead, and actually in my new role being able to contribute some things that are going to make a difference to the community that I've cared about in a different capacity to the seat that I've sat in here. Thank you for backing me, thank you for believing in me, and yeah, I'm not going to say goodbye because I'll see you next year. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Can I ask Councillor Tukapua to close our meeting, please.
Kia ora. Kia tau, kia tātou katoa, te ata whai o tō tātou ariki au hukraiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu, ake āmene.
Oops. Declare the meeting closed.